Have you gained some of the weight back? Or are you starting to see a consistent increase of that weight regain? Pretty scary, right? Stop freaking out. Let's talk about it. We can't avoid life. And the thing is, life doesn't start when we lose all the weight. Life is happening right now. I know you're scared. I know you're thinking this was all for nothing and you put all this time and effort into it and you failed yourself. Or maybe you tasted a little success and you know what it feels like, but it's starting to slip away and you want it back. I got you. In this video, we're going to talk about how I avoided weight regain after having weight loss surgery and how I maintained a 140-pound weight loss 3 years later. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you my strategies and how I did that, as well as some of the other strategies, talking with a lot of people who've lost at least 100 pounds or more and what strategies they're using so that they can prevent weight regain or sustain weight loss. Please, please, please don't give up. It's time to get back on track. Let's go. Obesity is not a short-term problem, and bariatric surgery is not a short-term solution. Is it easy? Heck no. Is it doable? 100%. You can decide right now if you want to be different or have it be a different experience than any other diet that you have tried before. Keeping weight off post-op is 90% lifestyle changes and behavior modifications and 10% genetics. You have to look at your body, mind, and soul. Understand the causes of weight regain post-surgery, and then implement the changes you need to get back on track or stay on track. I know that sounds simple, and it is pretty simple, but if you don't do those two things, if you buy into, if you commit to, if you take ownership of those two things, you're going to have life-altering changes. Not just in your weight loss success, but in all aspects of life. Here are some possible causes, something that you need to look at regarding weight regain after having bariatric surgery. Medications, you need to look at your medications. There are medications out there that do have or cause weight gain. You need to understand, I'm not telling you, now please listen to me. I am not telling you to stop any medications because you realize that it causes weight gain. You need to have a conversation with your doctor, with your bariatric surgeon, with your general primary care doctor about these medications and how is there other alternatives? Why is it impacting weight regain? And how can we reduce that side effect? You just need to understand that there are some medications out there that their number one side effect is weight. Quality of ingredients. Quality of ingredients matters. You need to be very conscious and look at what are you putting into your mouth? What are the ingredients involved in that? Some of those ingredients cause weight gain. Inactivity. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a gym rat. I'm not saying you have to be an athlete. I am saying that sustained amount of inactivity, just movement, can be part of the reason that you're having weight regain. Injury or illness. Injury or illness can cause weight gain. One of the things that the body does is that when you've experienced an injury or an illness or something's going on, it increases cellular inflammation, which causes the body to hold on to water or hold on to weight or store fat. It's a survival technique. So ask yourself, look at yourself. Are you experiencing an illness? Have you just had a recent illness or injury that may be causing some weight regain? Is it possible hormonal or medical issues that might be one of the reasons that is causing weight regain? Increased consistent stress. I know we kind of avoid that, and it's something we need to learn to navigate, but increased consistent, constant stress can be a cause for weight regain. Mindset and self-talk. This is where you need to be super observant self-reflective of yourself. What mindset do you have? What are you telling yourself? How are you talking to yourself? That can impact weight regain. Quality of sleep. It's not about quantity of sleep. It's about quality of sleep. There is many research studies out there to support the fact that if your quality of sleep is reduced, weight gain increases. Are you reverting to old habits? This includes your relationship with food, your lifestyle decisions, your behaviors. Are you reverting back to the old way of doing things? Another reason or cause for weight regain is just the lack or loss of accountability. Are you monitoring? Do you even have an idea of what's going on? Are you just kind of avoiding the situation of your everyday choices? That accountability piece, it's lost, and that will impact weight regain. And then lack of support. Do you have a support system out there? Are you feeling supported? Not having support can impact weight regain. Now stop. There's two things that you need to think about before you go on further. That list of causes, possible causes for weight regain, there is no room for shame, guilt, and judgment here. It's just about self-reflection, self-awareness, and just being honest with ourselves. But the thing is, number two, there is room for accountability. If you want to use the above situations that I just talked about possible reasons or causes for weight regain, and you want to just stop there and think, oh, well, that's the reason why I regained the weight, and you're going to just put the blame on there and not want to move forward, then this video is just not for you. And that's okay. But if you really want to understand why you're regaining the weight and how to avoid it or possibly prevent it in the future, or how to get back on track, you need to have this be different than any other diet or plan that you've done before. And it has to be different than what you're doing before. I get it. I've done it myself. It's easier to blame the pregnancies. It's easier to blame the medications. It's easier to blame my family members and how they treat me. It's easier to blame the past. I'm not saying those things did not impact. I am not saying those things aren't important. I am just saying that we need to be able to navigate that so that we can avoid and get at the root causes, so that we can avoid weight regain and just be stuck in the blame game of all those causes and not do something different and make the journey and the long-term weight loss success a priority in doing something different. You do have some control over some of the things. You have all the control moving forward and making that decision to do something different. Being accountable to others, but more importantly to yourself, is the only way you're going to succeed. I had to step back and analyze my performance. I had to step back and look at what decisions that I was making. I had to step back and be honest with myself. If I didn't do that, I knew that I would not be able to get the results I wanted. If you found yourself regaining a bit or having trouble staying on track, are you avoiding a follow-up with your bariatric surgeon and the bariatric team? I did it at first and I realized that was old diet mentality happening. I was trying to be the perfect weight. Oh my God, I'm going to get judged. All those things. The thing to remember is, and I'm not saying every bariatric team is ideal after surgery. There are some bad ones out there. But have you made that follow-up appointment? Have you had that conversation about your regain and your worries about it? These people are professionals. They were trained for it. This is not their first rodeo. They've seen things and they might have great suggestions. And what they're first going to do is to see if there was something mechanically wrong with the original surgery to make sure that something is not getting in your way and maybe even possibly causing regain. It is easier to deal with a 10 to 15 pound, 20 pound regain than it is to deal with a 100-pound regain. So the faster, the sooner that you can get into that surgeon and having that conversation about what's happening, the better it will be for you. Now, am I saying that you've regained all your weight back and there's no hope? 100% not. I've talked to many people who have regained all their weight back and have finally figured out how do they get back on track and how do they lose that weight again long term. My main focus, it was never about the weight loss. It really wasn't. That was secondary to me. It was always about health and over well-being. I was, to be honest here, I'm more afraid about being old and sick and having many, many medical issues than I am of dying. I want quality of life. And I was very lucky. I learned really early on that the scale and the BMI chart has nothing to do with my results or my success. They're just little pieces of data that, yes, can help you and guide you, but they're not the end all be all. It has to be about your health. We don't lose weight to get healthy. We get healthy to lose weight. My diet. I know a lot of people want to know, what's my diet plan? I don't really have a specific diet plan, but what I do is I generally focus on more whole food and I reduce as much processed food as possible. And the number one thing I look for, no matter what, over any macro or gram or number or whatever, is the quality of the ingredients in the food item that I'm going to put into my body. I just challenge you to look at the ingredients of the food items that you are eating. Don't avoid this. Once you know, you know. Be aware of chemicals, additives, preservatives, artificial flavorings, artificial sweeteners, gums, like agents that are in it to make it taste better or taste more vibrant, all these things. Inflammatory fats, hidden sugars, refined carbs, synthetic, non-food things in your food item. What do you think is happening to your body? What do you think is happening when it comes to your weight and regain if your foods have these kind of ingredients in them? And also, I follow a bariatric ketogenic living lifestyle. If you want to know a little bit more about what that is, please let me know in a comment below and I will do a video on it if that's something that you want to learn more about. A bariatric ketogenic, pretty strict ketogenic lifestyle allows me to heal my body from within, but it also dramatically reduces my cravings, definitely my sugar cravings. It makes me be able to live life. And I'm not perfect. Trust me, I'm not perfect, and no one should be. Is that it allows me to live pretty 80% of my days are pretty strict in regards to what I allow in my body. And then of course I allow 20% of other times, but I know that I can't revert back to the old way of eating and my old relationship with food. It's not going to work. Bariatric surgery is not a quick fix and you can't revert back. Can you have a better relationship with food? Of course. Another big strategy that is so overlooked and that helped me on my journey for the last 3 years is I keep reviewing my bigger why. Someone told me, I was so lucky, someone told me right at the beginning to develop and understand what your bigger why is. And your bigger why should be how you want to experience life. It's not about your goal weight. It's not about the number on the scale. It is about a feeling. It's about an understanding of what and who you want to be.
I just wanted to document my why because I keep saying to document your why. And my why is to have my body meet my mind, to feel present in my body.
Hydration, super important. And it's something I still have to work on. And I love water, don't get me wrong, but it is the basis of everything. It is a priority. We are 63 or 67% water. So we need water. You have to keep fully hydrated. And sometimes it's just a job like brushing our teeth. That's something we need to focus on and be a priority each day of our lives. The other thing is, a lot of times we think we're hungry, but we're actually thirsty. Sleep. Sleep is so important. As I mentioned, there's so much research out there just supporting the fact that it's about quality of sleep, not quantity of sleep. Feel free to check out my video. I did a video on it because it is so important. And if you feel like you are regaining and that's kind of an issue for you, there's a lot of things you can do to improve that quality of sleep. Another strategy is I realized I needed support. I needed to be able to ask for help. I also had to learn how to give support. If I wanted to receive support, I had to be able to understand that I needed to give support. It's one of the reasons I started this YouTube channel, is because I realized that support and asking for help is super hard for people. And it's so important for life in general, but also if you are having struggles in regards to your weight loss surgery journey. Asking for support is a sign of bravery. And it's as simple as maybe finding a friend that you can talk to. Maybe you do need a therapist. Maybe you do need a counselor. Maybe it's talking to your pastor. Maybe it's joining a support group. Maybe it's a trainer. Maybe it's a mental health specialist. Maybe it's all of it. The thing is that we have to understand that life is hard. This journey can be difficult, especially if we're struggling a little bit. And it's important to ask for help and not do it alone. Stress management. Interesting, right? How many times did we use food in the past, or we're using it presently, to handle our stress? Life will give us stress. Life is stress, to be honest. And we have to be able to not avoid it, but to learn how to navigate through it. Movement, nothing crazy here. You know what? To be really honest, I was more like an athlete before surgery. I did 5 triathlons at 300 pounds. I blew out a knee, the whole thing. But the thing is that I'm not talking about crazy movement here. I'm not talking about going to the gym 7 days a week and all those things. I'm just talking about one of the strategies that I do is understand the importance of movement. Just getting up, stretching, it only takes 20 minutes a day. And really, it's not about losing the weight for me. It's about taking a break. It's about increasing endorphins so that I feel better. It's about all the other factors that movement does that helps my body keep moving forward. Another strategy is self-care. I did teach myself how to care for myself. I was a good promoter to my friends and family members, like, oh, you need to increase your self-care. But it's super important to understand what that means. It helps with the stress management we just talked about, but it has so many other health benefits. We need to take care of our mental health and our emotional health, even more importantly than our physical health. It's about really understanding that you need to be a priority and take care of yourself. And sometimes that means just taking a break. It means removing yourself from other people's stress and just making yourself a priority. It's vital. And I have many ways I've learned to teach myself many self-care strategies, but one of the biggest ones that helped me was I actually practice gratitude. I do it in the morning. I do it in the evening. It's nothing major. I'll do a video on this as well, but it's just as simple as that. But I also realize the importance of focusing on what I am grateful for versus the negative aspects in my life. Another strategy for me to maintain a 140-pound weight loss is routine. It just is. Routine. Routine is a sacred time for me. Randomness causes issues for me. Do I know how to adapt and change if I get off of my routine? Because that's life as well. Yes. But I also understand that routine and scheduling things for me keeps me grounded, keeps me moving forward, and allows me to be spontaneous. It allows me to adapt if life happens and I have to get out of my routine. Consistency and progression is the name of the game. It's not about perfection. I have a pretty solid morning routine and a pretty solid evening routine that generally, even if I'm vacationing or I'm experiencing something out of my schedule, those two things are pretty standard, and I rarely do not incorporate them daily. Another strategy is I've just let go of the diet mentality. I've just let it go. It did not serve me before. And that includes diet mentality thinking. I had to, and I'm very grateful, realize that bariatric surgery is not a quick fix. It's not magical thinking. It's not a magic bullet. It's not a magic pill. It's not like, and it should not be like any other diet before. You have to change that thinking. You have to let it go. Those diets before were not, did they work on mindset? Did they were all about restriction in the moment and not about how to navigate life, right? It was really about that. And so you got to change the way you look at your bariatric surgery journey, and moving forward and long term, you have to let go of that diet mentality thinking. What goes hand in hand with that, for me, a strategy is really working on my mindset and my self-talk. This journey really is about those things. It really has to be about what mindset do you have and how are you talking to yourself. We will continue to regain the weight or gain the weight if we don't address these things. I keep saying it, and I know it sounds almost like counterintuitive, but weight gain, weight regain, especially after bariatric surgery, has nothing to do with the weight. We really do have to lose the mental and emotional weight before we can ever lose the physical weight, and definitely long term. And the other thing that goes with above, the strategy that I've learned, and the kind of the reason for this channel and even the reason for this video, is just I had to adopt new life skills. There's a reason I was obese before. There are reasons why we regain the weight. It has nothing to do with the food even, really. It's about what is getting in the way and why couldn't we make the changes that we need to make. It's about getting at the root causes versus putting a Band-Aid on the effect. And it's okay to understand that we need to learn them. A lot of times we just weren't taught them. We were just assumed as you become an adult, and some of us had some real issues in our childhood past. We just weren't taught those life skills. Now it's time to learn those life skills. The longer you ignore it, and myself included, I had a little bit of regain, and I realized really quickly that I had to do whatever I needed to do so I can get out of this crazy roller coaster of weight gain, regain, loss. I don't want that anymore. I don't want that in my life anymore. So decide right now to act differently. Decide right now to think differently. Is it going to be easy? No, bariatric surgery is not easy. And I don't know if anyone told you that it is. We keep telling ourselves and telling others that it's not easy. It's not easy. Well, it's not easy. It's not a quick fix, but it's doable. It's got to be about a lifestyle, and it's got to be about making behavior modifications long term. I hear some of you saying, but Carrie, I just can't. Yes, you can. And that is the one sentence that's stopping you from moving forward. So check out my next video on how to help you with that. Click on the link now or touch that screen now, and let's do this. Let's do this. It can be done.